what the black man and woman needs to know about the nation, about the world, about themselves. Muhammad Speaks It. To order your 12-issue subscription to Muhammad Speaks newspaper, 313-371-7033. 313-371-7033. Kareem Bean Pie is the grand champion of all bean pies. The rich flavor and smooth texture takes this pie to a whole new level of delicious. One bite and you'll understand why people all over the country call daily to order Kareem Bean Pie. 313-371-7033. That's 313-371-7033. Kareem Bean Pie.
This bean pie is delicious.
Muhammad Speaks presents Messenger Elijah Muhammad's Teachings by Minister Khalil Shabazz every Sunday from 2 to 3 p.m. at Muhammad's Temple of Islam, 12609 East McNichols Road in Detroit.
Brothers and sisters, we rise for prayer. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Merciful, sole Master's Day of Judgment in which we now live. The alone do we serve, and the alone seek for thine help and aid. O Allah, please guide us on the right path, path of those upon whom thou bestow thy favors, not on the path of those upon whom thy wrath is brought down, nor those who go astray after they heard thy teachings. Say he, Allah is one God. Allah is he of whom nothing is independent, but upon whom we all depend. He begetteth not, nor is he begotten, there is none like him. And I bear witness that none deserve to be served, worship, or praised besides Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. And I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is thy true servant and last apostle. Ameen. We'd like to acknowledge the brothers and sisters that extended us the greetings of Assalamu Alaikum. We have Brother Jeffrey Shabazz from Charlotte, North Carolina. And we have Sister Fatiha Sarara. I'd like to say in the name of Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, and in the name of his last and greatest messenger, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, I'd like to greet the brothers and sisters with the Nation of Islam's greeting words of peace of Assalamu Alaikum. Today, we like to talk about Bus Stop Bishop Nathaniel and Allah, the Black God. Now, Bus Stop Bishop, now the reason why I call him Bus Stop Bishop, let me explain. He is a bus stop bishop because their religion is a bus stop religion. He is free to say what he wants to say about Islam, and there's never a qualified person that represents Islam that challenges him. So his teachings have never been challenged when he lies on Islam. And what makes me so upset, being a black man who loves the history of the messenger, when you go and look at the history of this hypocrite named Louis Eugene Walcott, if you start with his history in 1964, when he was auditioning for the national representative of the messenger, I done read all his articles. You bet not have breathed wrong about the messenger without him saying something. He used to egg on fights and all that. Then when he was the national representative, and look at how he represented the messenger against anybody who said anything against the messenger. But now, this hypocrite, he won't say nothing to Bus Stop Bishop. And Bus Stop Bishop be making kindergarten arguments against Islam. Let's give an example. This was Bus Stop Bishop yesterday. He made a video called The Return of Isaiah and the Fall of Arabia. Now, Arabia is supposed to represent Islam. So in this video, the one thing that he said, he told thee because this video, he made it yesterday and it already got 33,000 views. Mind you. So when he speaks In less than 24 hours, 33,000 people that heard him lie on Islam, on the Nation of Islam. He say what he want to say. 33,000 people. Now let's talk about a minister. The messenger said a minister is his top representative in whatever city you in for Islam. That's a minister who is a minister in a city. But when you have a national representative, he is supposed to represent the messenger nationally.
That's right.
So if he the national representative, you got a national leader who's speaking against, he's supposed to say something against that leader.
That's right.
That's what a national representative of the messenger is supposed to do. All of us as ministers in our city, if we have people in our city who's speaking against the messenger, we're supposed to speak out against any person in our city who's speaking out against the messenger. Because all praise is due to Allah. Because we are his local representatives. So you got this hypocrite who sits around and let bus stop Bishop Nathaniel make kindergarten claims against, let's give an example. In this video, he said that he was in the Nation of Islam. He said, but while he was in the Nation of Islam, he found out the truth. He became ashamed, then he left. So he said, I don't believe that. I don't believe he was ever a member of the nation. But that's what he said. So if this is true, he's a hypocrite.
That's right.
Praise due to Allah. That's number one. Number two, he talks about the Arab slave trade. To try to turn the black man against what the messenger taught us, that Islam is the nature of the black man. The messenger said that Islam is the black man's religion. So the first kindergarten attack he makes against Islam is he said that the Arab slave trade started with Prophet Muhammad. See, that's not the religion of the black man, because you got all these Assalamu alaikum Muslims. He making a mock. These Assalamu alaikum Muslims got the black man enslaved. Now let's show you how kindergarten that claim is. Because in this video, I was so happy to see he used J.A. Rogers to prove one of his claims about Niger. So we gonna use J.A. Rogers too. Because he's saying by using J.A. Rogers, he a reliable source. So we gonna show you how kindergarten this claim about this Arab slave trade is against Islam. So we gonna go to the book by J.A. Rogers called World's Greatest Men of Color from the historian. On page 67, J.A. Rogers talks about a Muslim named Luqman. Luqman was a Muslim who lived 1,100 years before Jesus. He lived 1,700 years before Muhammad. That's the first fact we want to use to show you how kindergarten it is and how weak Muslims look to let this fake disrespect the messenger week after week after week. So let's go on even further with Luqman. This is what J.A. Rogers says about Luqman. He says the wisdom of Luqman is regarded by the Mohammedans as a point of belief. That's the second point. Because J.A. Rogers, who is a historian, recognized that Luqman is a real figure in history. Luqman was a Muslim. So what did our black God Allah want to tell us? If he puts Luqman in the Holy Quran that was revealed to Prophet Muhammad in 600 AD, around that time, what was Allah telling us? What was Allah telling the Arab Muslims? He was telling the Arabs that 1700 years before you knew anything about Islam, the black man was a Muslim. The black man wasn't in Arabia because Luqman wasn't an Arabian. Luqman was an Ethiopian. Because another thing that Bus Stop Bishop and the boys like to say, while they on the sidewalk with people who are not qualified, they continue to talk about how the Arabs worship all of these different gods. That's true. The Arabs had, I believe they say, 360 gods. That's true. But what about Luqman? Luqman was a Muslim 1100 years before, or 1700 years bore Prophet Muhammad. Then another point that J.A. Rogers makes mention in his book. He talks about how in the Quran it says, we gave Luqman wisdom. When you talk about Prophet Muhammad, they say that it was the angel Gabriel that revealed the Quran to him. But all Muslims know that when the Holy Quran says we, that's talking about Allah.
That's right.
So when Luqman got his wisdom from Allah, so just like when it talks about Noah, it says Noah walked with God. That's the same thing with Luqman, the black man. The messenger told us that Islam is the black man's religion.
That's right.
So, J. Rogers, he says the Mohammedans, because in the 40s they called Muslims Mohammedans. He says the Mohammedans, or the wisdom of Luqman, is regarded by the Mohammedans as a point of belief. It says the more incontestable as it is found upon the witness of the book of their religion. The 31st chapter of the Quran is entitled Surah Luqman, chapter of Luqman, and in the 11th verse of the chapter, Muhammad makes God speak in these words. Now let's stop right there. Because we love J.A. Rogers. J.A. Rogers was sincere, but J.A. Rogers wasn't a Muslim. Muhammad didn't make God say nothing. This is what God revealed to Prophet Muhammad. So let's just get that clear. We love J.A. Rogers. He was sincere. He wanted the black man to get the truth, but he wasn't a Muslim. So that was just a little error that he made. Allah revealed this to Prophet Muhammad. It says, and certainly we have bestowed the gift of wisdom on Luqman, followed by several other maxims from Luqman. It says Muhammad used Luqman in support of his own teachings. Once again, it wasn't his teachings. It was what Allah taught him. But it says Muhammad used Luqman in support of his own teachings, which has increased Luqman's fame to such an extent in the Mohammedan world that some Muslim writers call Luqman saint and prophet. So this is a kindergarten attack that he put on Muslims to try to make us to think that even if Muslims or Arabs had a slave trade, what that got to do with the black man?
Right.
Absolutely nothing.
Yes, sir.
So let's go on even further with J. Rogers. Because we want to show you how and because the point is, we want to show everybody. We would crush bus stop Bishop Nathan. That's the point that I want everybody who listen to us to know. We would crush him. The only thing that bus stop Bishop has in his faith is that Louis Farrakhan is a hypocrite. Because just imagine, when Abigail called me, some of the bus stop Bible babblers, they listened to my video. They saw this brother is out of the ordinary for the Nation of Islam. Right. So they sent it to Abigail. Then when Abigail heard, he went to Farrakhan. Now imagine if the call went a little something like this. What's up, brother? This brother Khalil Shabazz in Detroit, he made a video about us. He with y'all? What would have happened if the brother said, yeah, he with us? Not only is he with us, we sick of listening to you disrespect the messenger. And we don't want no sit down. Then what Abigail gonna do? Right. That's what IUIC need to realize. Yes. You need to understand that the Nation of Islam has been on the scene for 93 years. We have suffered setback after setback after setback after setback. Yes, and our God, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, showed us his power. Yes. Because the messenger said, do you think that upon your belief that you would not be tried? That's what he told us. So in 1930s, we just drifting a little bit. We're going to get back to the subject. In the 1930s, when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was on the run for 7 years, many people thought, nation gonna fall. They didn't think that the nation could survive with its leader on the run. Then in 1942, the messenger went to prison for 5 years. Oh, the nation, how they gonna survive that? 1963 or 64, Malcolm turns hypocrite. Everybody thought that the nation about to crumble because Malcolm gonna attract all the militant brothers. They gonna leave Elijah Muhammad and the nation gonna fall. Bounce back from that. 1975. That was the biggest setback that we suffered. The passing of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. 48 years later, we still here. So today, we got a setback. We got a hypocrite who on the scene. Another setback. Most brothers is loyal to this hypocrite. So old bus stop Bishop, he think it's his chance to shoot his shot. He in for a rude awakening. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us that Allah will disgrace the disbeliever. The messenger told us in Message to the Black Man. He said that Allah will allow the opposition to the messenger to try to carry out their plan they had against the messenger. That's what he said. He said he'll allow you to carry out your plan. Then he said Allah will cause them to about face. He said in everything that you wished upon the messenger, Allah will reverse it and put it on you.
That's right.
Not only did the messenger tell us that, The messenger said, look at all those who opposed me. That's what Bus Stop Bishop need to do. It was people way stronger than you who opposed the message.
Yes.
A lot of people. People close to the messenger. The messenger's own blood brother. The messenger's own grandson. The messenger's own son. 2 of his sons. His youngest son in Wallace. Yeah. His national representative. And other hypocrites who tried to kill the messenger and turn against him. Go look at all of them. Don't miss one. Then another one you can look at. Look at this hypocrite Louis Farrakhan. Don't leave him out. He opposition to the messenger too.
Yes.
Messenger told us about hypocrites. The messenger said, Allah don't punish us with death.
Right.
He said Allah makes the hypocrite wish that he was dead.
That's right.
That's what the messenger taught us. So look at this old senile hypocrite Louis Eugene. Look at all the people that's dying in his camp. They younger than him. They in better condition than him. But Allah just won't let this hypocrite die. Message say Allah causes death to flee from the hypocrite.
That's right.
Because he said Allah wants them to suffer. He said death would take them out they misery.
Yes, sir.
He said the hypocrites are examples for us. So we see this hypocrite, Louis Eugene. He an example for us. He an example of the power of Master Farad Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
He letting this hypocrite live on. Now they pushing this hypocrite around in a wheelchair. That's good for this hypocrite. We don't want nobody to think we feel that's good for this hypocrite.
That's right.
Pushing him around in a wheelchair. Allah won't let him die. He a 93-year-old hypocrite. He tried to destroy the messenger. This hypocrite was with Wallace. He tried to help Wallace destroy the nation. Didn't work. So this hypocrite say, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pretend like I'm going back to the teachings of the message. I'm going to attract all of them young people who got an ear for the messenger, but I'm going to take them away and have them worshiping me. That's a hypocrite.
Yes, it is.
But the messenger said, he said, don't worry about none of it. He said, Allah will fill hell with them all. So it don't make no difference. I just wanted to go off a little bit for Bus Stop Bishop to let him to know you ain't getting away with what you saying about the messenger. We want to let you know you're not getting away. You think everything all good because this hypocrite ain't saying nothing to you. No. Let's keep going to show Bus Stop Bishop. Now let's go even further with J. Rogers. J. Rogers talks about another black man. This time this black man's name is Bilal. Now if you notice something, since Bus Stop Bishop used J. Rogers, he a reliable source. We done talked about 2 Muslims. One lived before Jesus. Another one came after Jesus. But J. Rogers don't say nothing about Jesus. They say the things that make you go, Why he ain't talking about Jesus? Because the messenger said that everything that's written about Jesus is a story. That's what he taught us. That's why the messenger had a lecture series called The True History of Jesus.
Yes.
Because he said the white man done mixed up Jesus' history so much that they confused themselves. he told us that a lot of that that's talking about Jesus is really the prophecy of the coming of the Mahdi.
Yes.
But whether we believe that or not, J.A. Rogers don't talk about Jesus. J.A. Rogers don't talk about Jacob. Because the bus stop bishop them, Jacob is the founder of their little Israelite nation. This great nation of Israel. J.A. Rogers, the historian, don't talk about none of these great so-called Israelites. Because like the messenger said, it's just a story. So let's go on with Bilal. It says that Bilal is the first muezzin and treasurer of Islam. Now, what is a muezzin? If I'm saying it right. That's the person who calls to prayer. Because when you look at Islam, every custom and practice that's in the religion of it, I ain't talking about this Arab culture. I'm talking about all of the practices of Islam comes from the black man. When you see Muslims do the call of prayer 5 times every day, they doing what the black man, Bilal, he the one who started all that. When you see people with their hands over their ears saying Allahu Akbar, that comes from Bilal, the black African Muslim.
Yes.
So we want to ask Busta Bishop, how you always lying and telling the black man about this Arab slave trade? Even before the Arabs began to accept their own prophet, because Prophet Muhammad came for the Arabs. He didn't come to the black, just like Jesus didn't come to the black man. Prophet Muhammad came to the Arabs. The Arab people rejected Prophet Muhammad. Facts. So, Prophet Muhammad, let's go on with what J.A. Rogers said. It says, he, meaning Bilal, was said to be the prophet's first convert. It says his people, meaning Muhammad, the Quraysh, worshipped idols, and he yearned to teach them the belief in one God. Then it says the converts were horribly tortured. It says he, this time meaning Bilal, it says he would not, it says Bilal alone escaped the shame of recantation. He would not yield. In the depths of his anguish, and persecutors could force from him but one cry. Abad, Abad. Only one God. This was the black man before he ever saw Prophet Muhammad. Prophet Muhammad heard about Bilal. He heard that Bilal was a strong believer even before he even seen Bilal. That's the history of Islam. So they was torturing Bilal, trying to get Bilal to worship the same idols that the Arabs worship. Bilal didn't worship idols. Bilal came from the same people Luqman came from, the Ethiopians. So it goes on to say, by J.A. Rogers, it says persecution of this kind later forced Muhammad to take up the sword. It forced him, not because he was some slave trader, not because he was coming around trying to force black people to accept. He saw that the black man was being persecuted for accepting Islam. So all praise is due to Allah. So J.A. Rogers said, because Prophet Muhammad saw the type of persecution that Bilal suffered, it forced him to pick up the sword. Facts. But let's go on even further. We don't want to stop there. We want to drive this point all the way home for Bus Stop Bishop Nathaniel. Let's go this time to Brown University. Now this time it's talking about what is called the first Hijra. It says the Christian king of Abyssinia, a kingdom located in present-day Ethiopia. It says after the Quraysh began to persecute the Muslim converts in Mecca, many Muslims fled to Abyssinia, which is Ethiopia, to seek protection and live in peace. That's the black man's country. Now, if Mecca, as this fake bus stop bishop said, if Mecca was the largest slave port, if Prophet Muhammad was forcing Islam on the black man, why would the president or the king of Ethiopia accept these Muslims? Why would he do that? If that's true what bus stop bishop saying, it ain't true. Let's keep going. It says, after the Quraysh began to persecute the Muslim converts in Mecca, many Muslims fled to Abyssinia to seek protection and to live in peace. It says they were offered protection by the Negus even after the Quraysh came to reclaim their kinsmen. The king said, I believe, or this is what Brown University says. They say, I believe it is important to understand that the Negus found the Muslim converts to be more like his people in that they believed in one God. And unlike their kinsmen who had not yet began to believe in God. It says the Negus later converted to Islam, becoming a follower of Prophet Muhammad. Before the Arabs accepted, you got another example of a black leader of a country who he didn't accept it because he was forced. He didn't accept it because Prophet Muhammad was some slave trader and Mecca was the largest slave port. He heard the religion. He saw what the Quraysh was saying. He said these Muslims is more close to our religion than they are. They don't even believe in God, but they do, even though their God's name was Allah. He didn't say like this is one of the things that bus stop bishops say. That I know every Muslim that hear him, and you don't get offended, you suspect, I'll say. Bus stop bishop be telling people that Allah is a rock in Mecca. That let me know Lewis a hypocrite. Because if Lewis was a Muslim, it would be a feud with IUIC and the Nation of Islam. That's one thing I'm going to continue to Let's talk about the messenger for a minute to prove my point. In 1963, the messenger was having a meeting in Flint. The Flint police came to the meeting and wouldn't give up their weapon. So the brother came to the rostrum, told the messenger, we have a problem with this devil and his gun. So the messenger, being the fighter that he was, he left the rostrum, went down where the commotion was to talk to the police. This ain't this hypocrite Louis Eugene. He got off the speaker. He could have told the brother, well, look, we about to close the meeting and you just tell the devils, we going to be out of here in a minute. No. Messenger left from where he was, went down where the beef was at. So when the messenger saw that the devil wouldn't give up his weapon, he said, all right, I'm going to call the meeting. Then in the Muhammad Speaks newspaper, the messenger said, we would have called his bluff, but it was too many women and children in arms. That was Elijah Muhammad.
That's right.
You think he would sit around and let a fake like bus stop bishop call his God a rock? You out your mind.
Right.
The messenger stepped to not only the police, The messenger stepped to J.B. Stone. He left Chicago, went down to Atlanta when it was the headquarters for the Ku Klux Klan. That's how he was with disrespect, with white people who are about that life. In 1963, that was a year after Ronald T. Stokes. Messenger wasn't afraid of no devil. He went down there in the midst of it like, what's happening? Then the messenger read, while he in the midst of it, we would have called. He didn't say the brother. He said, we would have called this devil's bluff. But it was too many women and children in arms. That was the mess, a fighter for Islam.
Yes, sir.
So let's go on even further. This is my favorite part right here. Because now we about to talk about one of the points that Bus Stop Bishop keep on talking about. Bus Stop Bishop, he keep on saying that this is the first time that the black man ever seen this kind of unity. That's what he's saying. He's saying this garbage because you can't call what he doing garbage. That's proper. What he doing is garbage. Bus Stop Bishop. What he do to Allah? This black Hebrew Israelite garbage. He talking about it ain't never been done before. Let's just talk some talk. Because I want to show everybody how elementary this garbage is he talking. So let's look at the accomplishments of Bus Stop Bishop after 30 years. Now I'm going to say that I don't want nobody in the audience to laugh. Because we know what the messenger did after 30 years. But we just going to read old Bus Stop Bishop just for other people who don't know. But don't laugh. Because it's fun. This is Bus Stop Bishop's accomplishments after 30 years of teaching that garbage. His first accomplishment is say leader of the largest Israelite movement in the world. Who that's helping? Founder of Israel United in Christ in 2003. Who that's helping? Over 80 congregations worldwide. Who that's helping? It says featured on thousands of radio shows worldwide. Who that's helping? It says YouTube channel with only over 90,000 subscribers. Who that's helping? It says television appearances regularly. Organized major events like the Memphis Millstone and the Chicago campaign, whatever that is. But who that helped? And that's it. And then it says teacher of Israelite faith for over 30 years. Now, when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad used to write articles about fakes like Bus Stop Bishop, he used to call them self-leaders. Right. They ain't doing nothing to help the black man. All this stuff make Bus Stop look like he's somebody. That's what you call a self-leader with a self-organization. Right. Now let's go on even further with Bus Stop Bishop. On the back of the shirts of Bus Stop Bishop and the boys, it says an organized nation. So every time the black man see them talking this garbage, they think what he doing is a nation. Bus Stop Bishop don't own an outhouse in America. We used to call it in the military a latrine. Bus Stop can't even buy the black man a latrine so he can go do number 1 and number 2. That's Bus Stop Bishop. But Bus Stop Bishop call it our God a rock. No, not no Muslim listen. Sometimes when I daydream, what if all of them brothers that's with Farrakhan was listening to me? I don't want to be the big eye by no stretch. Be honest. I just got to keep it real. I want to see IUIC. What would happen if overnight we could say abracadabra? All them brothers with Farrakhan just flipped into Elijah Muhammad believing Muslims. What would happen? What would happen if it was a temple full of Elijah Muhammad brothers in here?
Yes.
Detroit wouldn't be the city. I'm just going to let you know. Because the messenger of God can't. Let's just continue. Because I want to make this point. This is the accomplishments of Bus Stop Bishop. Now let's go to the message. Because the first point I want to make with the message, because I argue with Bus Stop Bishop them and his people, I argue with them a lot online. First thing they say to try to hype up Bus Stop Bishop is, where is all of this stuff that Elijah Muhammad built? Where is it at today? Where would Noah build? Where is that today? Where would Moses build? Where is that today? When the children of Israel, in this story in the Bible, let's make it clear, we don't believe that really happened. But in that story in the Bible, when Moses made manna come out of the sky to feed the children of Israel, when Moses parted the Red Sea, Moses died. They spending 40 years in the wilderness, just like how we doing after the death of the messenger. Now when Joshua come to tell them about Moses, saying we got to follow the teachings that Moses taught, what they going to say? Where the manna at now?
Right.
Where the parting of the Red Sea at now? Where is it at now? You can't say that. Why you can't say that? Because Moses was a Muslim. What kind of standard did Allah give to Muslim messengers and prophets? This comes from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. December 25th, 1970, Muhammad speaks. He quotes from chapter 42 of the Holy Quran. This is verse 48. It says, but if they turn away, we have not sent thee as a watcher over them. Thy duty is only to deliver the message. And surely we have made man taste mercy from us. He rejoices thereat. And if on evil afflict them on account of what their hands have sent before, then surely man is ungrateful. So Allah is telling all of his prophets and messengers. Let me just read what the messenger said. Then I'll come back. This is what the messenger said. He says, verse 48 clears the messenger of the people going astray after hearing this truth, ignoring it and not accepting, by telling him that he was not set as a watcher over them to see whether they did right or wrong. He was only to deliver the message. He was not to sit around and watch and see if they did right, or that is up to them. So now, we got that out the way. Let's talk about the message. Let's compare the messenger to Bus Stop Bishop. This the messenger. This is the August 1970 Ebony magazine. What's so beautiful about this particular edition? They got every black group in the country that was doing something is in this magazine. But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the only one who had an entire section devoted to him by himself to explain his movement. Now let's see what they say. It says there is nothing fatalistic about Muhammad's brand of Islam when it comes to getting things done. Putting his money where his mouth is, the messenger. Because they saw him. They didn't say Elijah Muhammad. They said the messenger. Because they saw him do what he do. Now, many of them didn't believe. But because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's teachings were so strong, because his work was so successful, say he the closest thing to a messenger I ever seen. If it's a messenger, he a messenger. So the messenger has masterminded the acquisition of a multi-million-dollar nationwide business and farm complex at a dizzying clip that has seasoned businessmen and economists in wide-eyed disbelief. Let's break that down for a minute, because we want black people to understand about Bus Stop Bishop and this nonsense. Bus Stop Bishop, the messenger, runs circles around this fake. Yes. This fake don't have nothing that a nation builder would have on his resume. All he got talking about, you got 90,000 subscriptions to YouTube. Think about Allah. Yes. When the executors come, they gonna look at all them dumb followers in IUIC and say, you mean to tell me you reject my message, who built a real nation that everybody saw, for this chump who got 90,000 subscriptions? You fuel for the fire.
Right. That's right.
You fuel for the fire. You are disbelief. Because if you wouldn't believe our clear arguments, you wouldn't believe nothing. So they'll just push you right on over in the fire. Now let's talk about these economists and these businessmen in wide-eyed disbelief. What does wide-eyed disbelief mean? Wide-eyed disbelief. What does it mean when you're talking about an economist? What is an economist? It says an economist is an expert who studies the relationship between a society's resources and its production or output. Economists study society ranging in, now there's three kinds now. Economists study societies ranging in from small local communities to entire nations and even global economies. Those are the three that economists study. Small local communities. Messenger wasn't a small local community. It says entire nations. We the nation of Islam. We not a global economy. So when economists who study governments saw how little Elijah built this multi-million-dollar business and farming complex, they were in wide-eyed disbelief.
Yes, sir.
Why were they in wide-eyed disbelief? Because one more thing about Bus Stop Bishop, when he arguing with people on the sidewalk who ain't qualified, he say it ain't no prophecies in the Quran. Well, let's talk about a prophecy that talks about why they in wide-eyed disbelief. This comes from chapter 62, verse 2. It says, he it is, meaning Allah. He it is who raised among the illiterates a messenger from among themselves, who recited to them his message and purified them and teaches them the book and the wisdom, although they were before certainly in manifest error. What does manifest error mean? Manifest error means obvious and indisputable. We were in manifest error. The black man. Everybody saw us. Everybody saw how the white man destroyed us.
Yes.
So because we were in manifest error, when God raised his messenger among the illiterates, teach them the book and the wisdom, and purified them when before they were in manifest error.
Yes.
All them people was in wide-eyed disbelief.
Yes, sir.
Talking about this fake. Now let's go on even further than that. Because we don't want to just give one example of these economists and these businessmen. We want to drive the point home with Bus Stop Bishop. This comes from the April 3rd, 1973 Detroit Free Press. Once again, this ain't the Nation of Islam. When the white man saw, I like that wide-eyed disbelief. When the white man saw what the messenger was doing, they called what the messenger was doing a nation. They in wide-eyed disbelief though. But they like these niggas is building a nation. We can't believe it, but that's what the nigga doing. J.B. Stoner said about the messenger. So I don't like this nigga. If I had my way, that nigga Elijah Muhammad would be hanging from the first sycamore tree in Georgia. He said, but I must admit, he's smarter than other niggas. He said he ain't robbing his followers. He said he doing right by them. This is the Ku Klux Klan member that hated the messenger. He himself was in wide-eyed disbelief. So you got the white man in Detroit. When they saw what the messenger was doing, wide-eyed disbelief. This comes from the March 11, 1974 Pittsburgh Post-Gospel. It says Homewood gets economic lift from black Muslims. Once again, I don't love these niggas. But the nigga, he improving and lifting up the economy for the other niggas that's in Homewood. He ain't like Bus Stop Bishop. He ain't a self-leader. He is a leader for the black man. Let's go on even further. It's another. When the messenger passed away, March 2nd, 1975, St. Louis Post-Dispatch. Elijah Muhammad, builder of a nation. We don't like the nigga. He built the nation though. The messenger said when Malcolm X, in my closing, he said when Malcolm X disrespected John F. Kennedy, the messenger was talking to Louis Lomax. He said, I wouldn't have cared if Malcolm X spit in his face. He said, but Malcolm is speaking before the public. He said, and as a public figure, you just can't say anything. He said, the white man hate me. He said, but if I died today, they would say something good about me. Facts. Elijah Muhammad, builder of a nation. Now, they don't say this kind of stuff about Bus Stop Bishop. This is the thing that we must know when we look at this faith. That's why I call him Bus Stop Bishop. You don't understand how happy I was. I think the brother's name is Abba Yale. I ain't trying to disrespect the brother. We don't have to. We don't have to disrespect them, but I was so happy. When I saw Abba Yale on that Fix Your Face, with thousands of them Bus Stop Bible babblers listening to me say, and Bus Stop Bishop. I've been working hard to get them to hear me say that for years. Allah bless me. Allah blessed us as believers, because I don't want to say me. It's we the believers. It's all of us. those who donate, those who send in their greeting, all of us working together. So that was a feather in all our cap.
That's right.
To let this fake know, all of us say with that hypocrite Louis Eugene. In my clothes, and this is the last point. When I see this fake bus stop bishop, and I see all these Muslims not saying nothing, I feel like in that story in the Bible of David. David came in among the so-called children of Israel. He saw their knees shaking. He saw them quivering like, there go Goliath. David said, who is this uncircumcised Philistine? Y'all sitting up here shaking in your boots. He said, pull up your loins. That's how I feel about bus stop bishop. Sometime I wish the messenger was alive. Because I know if he was alive, we'd have a real true brotherhood. Yes. And bus stop bishop would see that. And when Abigail made the call, he wouldn't have made the call in the first, because they wouldn't be doing. But let's say they was doing. And this was the first Muslim that saw. He would say, yeah, that brother with us. Why y'all disrespecting the message? That's what a Muslim would say.
That's right.
Well, brothers and sisters, we don't want to prolong the time. So I leave you as I came in the nation of Islam's greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Enjoying the show? Help keep us on the air. 313-371-7033. That's 313-371-7033 to make a donation.
Brothers and sisters, we rise for prayer. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Merciful, Soul Master's Day of Judgment in which we now live. The alone do we serve, and the alone seek for thine help and aid. O Allah, please guide us on the right path, path of those upon whom thou bestow thy favors, not on the path of those upon whom thy wrath is brought down, nor those who go astray after they heard thy teachings. Say he, Allah is one God. Allah is he of whom nothing is independent, but upon whom we all depend. He begetteth not, nor is he begotten, there is none like him. And I bear witness that none is heard to be served, worship, or praised besides Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. And I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is thy true servant and last apostle. Ameen. Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us not to do anything to anyone that we wouldn't have done it to ourselves, and treat everybody right, even the devil. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.